I spent the next 7 days mastering the newest brawler, Juju. I'll be starting all the way from the beginning to my goal of reaching 1,000 trophies and mastering her. Of course, I also have some goals in mind. With my first goal, of course, reaching the mastery title, Hexed, reaching at least 1,000 trophies, and mastering Juju's mechanics. This is definitely going to be a little difficult. I have to learn every single thing about Juju, but the more I practice her, it might get easier over time. So without wasting any more time, let's start off with... The first thing I needed to do, of course, was to level her up to max level, and lucky for me, I was able to have enough resources. The next thing I needed to do was get the right gears, gadgets, and star power. Now, I am ready. The first game mode of the day, I tried out Gem Grab, and I had to go with bots, of course, the first few matches. Juju has 3 different attacks. Her first attack, if you're standing on solid floor, you will be throwing floor-like projectiles that do a lot of damage. If you're standing in grass, you will throw leaves that throw farther but do less damage. And if you're standing on water, it will do less damage but make enemies slower. Now for her super, she will spawn in her companion, Grigri. Grigri will follow around players doing lots of damage with needles, which is pretty insane. And I won my first matches, getting to 100 trophies. In later matches, I went up against people that were also Juju, but they were pretty easy to defeat, and I won that game. After most of my matches just being bots, I started to go up against real people, and I got up all the way to 200 trophies. Also hitting bronze 1. Also collecting all these trophies were pretty satisfying. Many gem grab matches were starting to get pretty difficult. As you can see, my Sandy got demolished by the Clancy, and now he is the gem collector, but that didn't last too long, and I tried to get him, but of course Sandy and RT were there. I later snuck up on RT and I managed to kill him, but then Sandy snuck up on me and managed to kill me. Luckily, Grigri slowed down Sandy so that Mo could have the chance to grab the gems, which worked out. And fortunately, we won that game. And this made me realize that Juju's not that bad of a brawler, since I was able to get star player and get a lot of trophies. My matches started to get much easier again, and I was able to get star player multiple times. Some matches were a bit too close, but that didn't stop me from getting 300 trophies and hitting bronze 2. I later hit 400 trophies and my win streak kept getting higher until game 32. The game started off well with me doing pretty decent damage and being able to eliminate the opponents pretty easily. I was able to collect most of the gems the entire round until I tried to be a little greedy and a little unsafe. I managed to kill the Daryl and the Belle, but they immediately spawned back in, making this happen. And then Daryl was able to collect all the gems and I kinda threw, which meant I also lost my win streak, losing my first ever game with Juju, but I still continued either way since we still have a long way to go with our journey. I then tried to do hot zone for a bit and I guess it went pretty well since we managed to eliminate the opponents pretty easily and winning games until I got to bronze 3. We won a lot, in fact, that I also hit silver 1. I moved on to a Brawl map and I managed to hit rank 35. And you know, some games were pretty random since this Buzz player had a pretty hard time aiming his supers and kept on dying pretty frequently. And I guess his plan never worked out, I guess, since we did win the game. But that doesn't matter since I hit silver 2. Then not too long after, I'm almost to 1,000 trophies and hit silver 3. Okay, and I know what you're thinking, I'm probably going way too fast on this challenge. But listen, there is a mastery cap and this does take a while. So, on... The Brawl map did change for today, and my goal is to try to get to 1,000 trophies, which may be difficult depending on what randoms I do get, but I guess that worked out pretty well since we did win our first matches. I now hit 850 trophies, but we still got a long way to go. In some cases, I'm not the one carrying the matches, but instead, Grigri carrying the matches. And you know, Grigri did pop off in some of these cases that I think that he's the one that got star player this match. I think Grigri needs a nerf pretty soon. Some of these matches were pretty crazy though, since for some reason everyone was alive and a second later, everyone is dead. I won that match and I'm starting to get pretty close. And Grieger again is popping off, winning that game. And don't worry, sometimes my randoms are actually pretty good. I now hit the 900 trophy mark. My next matches, I did win. Some games felt a little difficult to win, but still managed to win anyway. Then I scored again, and we lost the next one. Some games were, pretty weird, but we still won anyways. I am now one game away from 1,000 trophies, and this is how the game went. The first few minutes, my teammates started to die early on, which wasn't a good thing. But Rico did manage to save the game by using his super. But that saving didn't last a while since Fang did score later on. But we did clutch up again since Rico uses Hypercharge, eliminating not one, not two, but the entire team, making us score the next game. Eventually overtime happened and I clutched up that shot, winning the game, securing my victory of 1,000 trophies. But the journey still doesn't stop there since we still have a long way to go. So it was time for Hot Zone and I felt pretty good about this one since I did kill this dude pretty fast and we claimed the Hot Zone. We kept doing the same tactic of hiding behind this little block, being able to throw shots around it and dealing a bit of damage, which did work out a little bit, but of course I did die to the Jesse. We easily claimed both hot zones, which actually worked out a bit. I managed to defend my side and my teammates were able to defend theirs, managing to win our next games, which were pretty easy. Not too long after, we started to go against pretty pro players now. The game of course lasted pretty short, and I do love players with over 1,200 trophies. I switched it up to gem grab and I guess it worked out pretty well since I killed a gem collector. I managed to stay alive for the countdown and won the game. And I'm not gonna lie, Juju is actually a pretty good brawler to use for this gem grab match since there is a lot of grass everywhere. Just to use your gadgets of turning invisible for just a few seconds, which does benefit a lot, and I did get close to gold 1. The next game got a lot weirder since 300 people were watching me play this one game. Although it didn't really last well since I kept dying pretty much at the beginning of the game until the very end, and we lost that game. But after that tragic game, things started to get better since I was able to help out my teammates pretty much almost all of my games, which resulted into me winning most of them. I was then able to hit gold 1. But again, the journey does not end here still since there's still so much progress to be made. So it was time for more Brawl Ball and I decided to go with this map. This map felt pretty cool at first, but in my first few matches I did get destroyed by a few opponents. And while some games were pretty close, it didn't work out at the very end. At some points, you just needed to give up. And we were about to win this game, but I decided to be a little toxic, which resulted into this. But we still won. Things started to turn around though since we started to win our future matches, and this resulted into my final win to 1,100 trophies, which is a very cool goal. And after playing Juju for a really long time now, I started to get the hang of her mechanics. I decided to go to knockout and I thought it was going to be a good map until one of my teammates died and then my second teammate died, which resulted into me having to clutch up this 1v3. I managed to kill this Surge and I silently went invisible trying to go after Piper, which worked out pretty well. And then all I had to do was kill a Leon. Pretty easy, right? Until I messed up at the very end. But this does show that Juju can be pretty good in some occasions, which resulted into me almost hitting gold 2. So it was time for more Brawl. My goal for today was to just try to hit gold 2 and max out my mastery points because that would help out a lot. and my teammates were actually pretty good on this map, and I did win, resulting to me hitting gold 2. And you know, hitting a mastery cap is going to take a long time, so once again, today's goal was to just hit my mastery cap, and you know, showing my entire progress is just gonna result into me editing a lot more and showing you a lot of more games that are unnecessary. So today is the last day, which means it is time to hit gold 3 and get the mastery title Hexed. My first few games went actually pretty well. I was able to defend against the Edgar and the Eco pretty easily, which meant I was able to get the hot zone and work together. I was able to win this game, the next game, and the game after that, which meant I was only one game away from hitting gold 3. It was time for the last game, and this is how it went. This game, there were a few tanks, so the first player I went up against was a Frank, and you know, it was absolutely easy to defend this guy because he had no way of getting me, so he just decided to leave. Things started to get a little problematic since Kenji arrived, but we resolved that issue pretty easily, but we actually lost. So the next game, we decided to go a little more strategic. This time, I claimed my hot zone, and all of the enemies started to go after my hot zone, which meant we were probably going to lose, but they completely forgot that they had no one to guard the other hot zone, resulting me to win my final game, which meant I got gold 3, hitting the mastery title, Hexed.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Okay, we actually won this game, finally, last game, which meant gold 3. After the win in this game, I finally claimed all of my rewards, which meant the video is finished. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you sticked around, consider subscribing since this video did take a while. If you want more Brawl Stars content, consider liking the video. This video is a little different than my usual ones, but I will still continue doing what I usually do. But again, thank you all so much for watching.